Hello.
Let's go, Schlep Rock.
Perfect. Let's go Schlep Rock. Welcome to the show. This is the edition of Boiler Room. Will it hold up or not? That'll be the main event later. Of course, it's Travis, Eric, and myself, live and uncensored on the Cinema 9 podcast. Yay! Woohoo! Yippee! Schlep Rock. I believe that's from this movie.
That is 100% a quote from this movie. Let's go, Schlep Rock. Which, sorry for stomping on your intro, but I was just so excited to throw that out there, I guess.
It's a great intro, really. We should have just started with that. That was
no one called it that. I mean, it was Slack Rock. No one said Schlep Rock. Slack Rock.
Yeah, that's a Jewy thing there. Schlepping. Yeah, they Jewified it. So before you send me emails, technically I'm Jewish, so please, I think I can say that. I don't know. Am I fired? Am I canceled? Is it over for me? Because I could just go to bed. It would be fine. So.
Let's just qualify our every statement. Eric, how are you?
Exactly. Wait, can you say that?
Say what? I don't know. You're Jewish. You say whatever the fuck you want.
No, how are you? You said how are you? I don't know if you're qualified to say it. Okay, I'm kidding. Hey, what's up, Eric?
Eric.
I had to do the puberty talk for the 5th graders today, so let's just say I'm glad that's over.
That's a teacher's requirement?
Well, I volunteer because I'm like one of the male teachers at the school, so
that's good.
We had the talk, and it went well. A couple Snickers, never hurt anyone, It's all good.
Yeah, well, they're kids. They should snicker. It's cool.
Yeah, it's normal.
It's cool. Yeah. Did you use euphemisms like pickle and that kind of stuff? Like, yeah, the raincoat goes on the pickle, and it goes.
I wanted to be very sincere, so I just straight penis, vagina.
Oh boy,
ejaculation, semen.
That's you. That's definitely you. I would expect that from you.
Can't hide from the truth.
You can't hide from the semen.
Well, I just thought you'd be really awkward trying to like walk the line of maybe a few euphemisms and trying to tell them about puberty. You're right. It's probably best to go straight forward.
It's honest.
You're nervous. I'm fine. If I was nervous, they would be nervous, and you got to keep it totally normal. But
you're on dangerous ground there, just like Steven Seagal was. It was very scary.
Yeah.
Who could forget?
Steven Seagal is such a douchebag. I didn't know what a douchebag he really became until recently. I learned a lot about him. It's fucking brutal.
Putin lover, isn't he?
That's just for starters, frankly. He's an absolute violator of women and like a total asshole to women and everyone. I don't think it's just women. He just loathes everyone and thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants to anybody at every given time. It's not good. Yeah, I did check out his music recently. It's on Spotify. I don't know if you've seen this, guys. If you want to laugh, anybody wants to laugh, just go to the Steven Seagal Spotify and bring up his picture with the guitar like this in his prime back in like 92. Oh my God, it's so funny. It's just a hilarious portrait of a total bozo. And bozo's usually a good thing. Actually, he's not a good bozo. He's a bad bozo. He is bad bozo. That's true.
Roundhouse kick.
Yeah, you gotta love it. There was a moment there where I was 11. I was big time into Marked for Death, Hard to Kill.
Yeah, who was it, man?
Yeah, fantastic.
But
then,
Death
was particularly good. I recall
it was.
Hard to Kill was another one I liked a lot.
Marked for Death, our buddy. Here I go. I'm gonna screw it up. Keith David was in it. So
David Keith, you mean?
No, Keith David is our buddy. David Keith is the one we don't give a shit about.
Yeah, Keith David. I got it right. I think I got it right.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes.
Men at Work, The Thing.
Yeah.
Dead Presidents. Yes. Keith David.
Yes, our main man.
You did it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. He's in the Marked for Death, I believe. He's like the sidekick. Like, hey, we're gonna pull this mission off. And just reminds me of like a movie that children would make, except adults are doing it, and there's like more money involved.
Speaking of which,
yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But by the end of the 90s, it was like DMX movies that were terrible. It was over for him pretty quickly. So. Glimmerman.
That was Tobolowsky. Stephen Tobolowsky's big turn as he plays a serial killer.
Tobolowsky was in that. No shit.
Yeah.
Him and Keenan Ivory Wayans. Wow.
That's right.
Okay.
I legit watched it just because I'm like, if Ned Ryerson's going to be a serial killer, I'm obviously going to watch this.
Yeah, I don't know if people know. I mean, everyone knows about your Nicolas Cage love, but Stephen Tobolowsky also carries a very strong place in your heart, does he not?
I wouldn't say anywhere near the depth and warmth that I hold for Nicolas Cage, but yeah, sure, I like Stevie Tobbs. I mean, he's one of those guys we all kind of grew up with. Those of us of a certain age, he just kind of had popped in every film for I don't know, like every classic movie for 10, 15 years he was in, and then he did California or Californication. And that also, I feel like, kind of stands out in my memory.
What was his
passport?
Yeah, I mean, Sneakers. Yeah.
In Californication, he was the new husband of Charlie's ex-wife, I think, or was it one of their ex-wives? They get together with him. He's like a movie producer, bozo, horn dog.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Funny in that. He's good in that. We're talking about everything but Boiler Room tonight here on the Cinema 9 podcast.
Well, you mentioned Nicolas Cage. We're going to see a Nicolas Cage movie in the theater tomorrow, which is it's a big deal.
We're going to go to the movies with Aaron, who has been a guest host on the show with Brotherhood of the Wolf, and with our friend Christian, who was a guest host on the show when we recently did American Beauty. And we're all going to go see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I'm very excited. I bought my ticket like weeks ago. I am there opening. Well, I would actually, this is how I feel about the podcast, guys. I could have gone tonight. I really wanted to buy my ticket for tonight, but I wasn't going to derail the podcast even for Nick. So.
Wow. Well, you should have. I think you went and saw what movie a couple months ago because you had to, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I pushed something back. I pushed the show back an hour to watch the Spider-Man when it
the
new Spider-Man movie when it premiered.
You're setting the agenda here. I mean, our friend Chudpud coming into town tomorrow, and it's like, yeah, we're going to see this Nick Cage movie because that's what Travis is already doing. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine by me. I mean, I actually do want to see this film. I'm very curious about how bizarre it will be, what will be happening with this film, because it seems like I don't like trailers like you either, Travis. I'm not into that shit. I agree. But I've seen a couple commercials, I think, accidentally, because even on YouTube, I couldn't skip them. Like, they showed up. They're commercials. But they don't reveal much, so I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen any trailers or nothing. I know the basic premise, but that's okay. I'm stoked. And it wasn't even my idea. I mean, like I said, I bought my ticket weeks ago, and then Aaron texted me and was like, "Hey, let's go see Massive Talent Friday night." I'm like, "Well, actually, I already bought my ticket if you want to go at 1."
So Aaron is stoked for this too. Okay, I see. Wow. All right. Well, wow. Yeah. So we're going to do that tomorrow. That'll be fun. Well, we'll give you a full report next week on The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Guaranteed.
That's right. We're going to watch Being there. I mean, what the fuck are we watching?
I don't know. I actually watched I don't think I ever mentioned that. I don't know if I finished it. The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Did you ever see that? Daniel Day-Lewis?
I haven't caught it. Yeah, it's Daniel Day.
It's early Lewis, back in the 80s.
Room with a View Lewis, back in then. I haven't seen
Room with a View. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. So we'll talk about that next week. And, of course, cinemanipod at protonmail.com is how you could contact the show if you want to tell us your feelings about movies in general. We had a great email that we got right after last week's show from a Briton, King of the Britons. I don't know if he's King of the Britons, but he's from that area, and that was really cool. I was really excited to see that. His name is Adam. Oh, he didn't want us to read it on the show, though, so I won't say his name.
Well, I think he just didn't want to read one particular part on the show, I think was actually what he was going for, if I read it. Am I right?
Let's see. Yeah, maybe don't read this live. It does say that. Okay. It does say that. I didn't mention your name, so I'll not say the name. But I'll just give a quick little treat here. Hi, guys. Longtime listener from Nottingham, England. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm serious. That is so cool. Like, fucking England? Like, people listen to this shit? To me, I just find that to be really cool. I do.
Amazing.
Shout out to all the non-Americans that listen to us. We deeply appreciate it.
Yeah.
We appreciate the Americans too. Don't get me wrong. If you're listening to us, we clearly appreciate it. I mean, we'd be doing this if no one was listening, but all the same, it's really nice for people that aren't our friends who listen to us. That's basically what it is. We appreciate our friends listening to us too. But if you don't know us personally and you listen to us, wow, very flattering. Thank you.
Hey, you said it, my friend. Well done. Well done. So thanks for the email. He wanted us to keep it off the air, but it was cool to get an email from Nottingham, England. All right. And if you want to be part of that, cinemanipod, protonmail.com, 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, 5-star review on Spotify as well. You can do that. It's very easy. All you do is click the star and put 5 stars on it. So let's get into quarantine viewing picks. Travis Roy, you have control of the board.
All right. Well, I went and visited my mom again. So there was a few movies that I watched. Yes, I call her mom or mom, but you can call her mommy. That's weird. It's weird if you do that. That was weird when you did that just now.
It was.
So there was a few movies that I watched that I had like zero control over because, basically my stepdad handles the remote control and it's his house. So I'm not going to give him a hard time about it.
Right.
I take that back. I mean, it's Fox News like nonstop there. So I did give some pushback against that naturally. And he eventually put on MSNBC for me. And I was like, I don't watch this, but okay, thank you.
It's not this or that. Come on.
But so there's a couple classic like 60s films I watched, Palm Springs Weekend and Where the Boys Are, with a young George Hamilton. And if you wondered if young George Hamilton was hot, I'm here to tell you he was smoking hot. So that was kind of fun watching those with them. And then they threw on Fargo, which I got no complaints. I hadn't watched Fargo in a long time, and god damn, that movie's funnier every time I watch it. It's so good. It's one of those movies that when I watched it, I was like, people think this is funny. This is not a comedy. What are you talking about? And then like as time is, I was 16, but as time has gone on, that's just funnier and funnier.
I watched it a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, and I completely agree. Yep.
It's just so funny. You know what? I watched Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood.
Okay.
I actually had veto power on this one, but I was like, why not? This cast was nuts. I mean, Ellen Burstyn, Sandra Bullock. Who else is in this thing? Angus McFadden, Ashley Judd, Maggie Smith. I mean, there's a lot of people in this thing. It's worth checking out. A lot of similarities to a movie that I think is superior, How to Make an American Quilt, but still a fine film, despite the title that very much kept me away from watching it for a long, long time.
Were the secrets divine?
Not technically, but by their standards, I guess, of the Yaya Sisterhood. I guess they can determine their own divinity.
Is that the Traveling Pants?
That's another thing. I totally got it confused with the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, which is a completely different film. Sure. Yes. There's just two movies that literally probably two that have the word sisterhood in them, and we just conflated.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I really learned something there. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, we're fucking Dunskies. The Batman is on HBO Max, so of course I revisited it.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
45-day window.
Yeah.
I thought it said May something. No. I'm fucking stupid. I swear I looked at it. It said May something.
Yeah, we blew our IMAX window. I mean, we talked about revisiting it in IMAX, and we should have, but I'm not going to now. I just watched it on HBO Max the other night.
No, it's over.
But it was, I still think this movie is fucking fantastic. I just absolutely love it. The second viewing, I had there is flaw in the movie, but it's fucking.
Friend of the show and former guest host, again, Derek Fern, who did the I Heart Huckabees episode. Yeah. He reached out to me and said that he just watched The Batman for the first time. He's excited to watch our instant reaction video or audio, which we have available. If you happen to finally watch The Batman, you didn't go see it in the theaters, you can go to our video and watch our instant reaction. It's about 40 minutes. So Derek's really excited to watch that now. He said he fucking loved the movie. That was his opinion.
All right. Wow. That's cool.
Travis, how did the sorry, but
go ahead.
How did I remember you really liked the chase, like the rain-soaked car chase?
Oh yeah, the car chase scene was a lot more intense in theaters. It wasn't quite the huge. I mean, like, I don't know. I got different things from it this time in a way. Like I kind of walked. The first time I saw it, I was impressed by certain things. This time I was a little impressed by a few different things. I will say that on that Batman thing that we did, I made a joke about the Riddler living across the street from the Penguin. Mm-hmm. For what it's worth, that does seem like it's no big spoiler here, but it does seem like that's not an accident. But I will leave it at that. Mm-hmm. I watched Serpico. I'd never seen Serpico, so I watched that. It was obviously good. It was good. I feel like it would pair really well with Brubaker, where it was like this period where people were making movies that were like, hey, let's expose corruption in the system, and then it'll still be fucked up afterwards. But
I saw your tweet about you could just buy a puppy for $5 on the street. So.
He was just walking down the street, and someone's got a box of puppies like they're bananas. And like, hey, you want one of these? It's free. Here, it's free. And it's like, no, I'll pay for it. It's $5. $5 for a life? I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, and then before I get to my big recommendation of the week, I did also watch right before this viewing, or right before this recording of us podcasting right now, I watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which I hadn't seen before, which it's goddamn weird. It's weird. It's a weird movie.
Eat spaghetti again?
I eat spaghetti by cutting it up, so fuck me, I guess. I don't know.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo like that. I live on the edge.
Yeah. I want it slurping all over my cheeks. Come on.
I cut it up like a white. But I did enjoy the movie. I was baffled by some of the choices that were just like, why is this dialogue in here? Why would you make someone say this? Why would you make us listen to this? But I did like the movie overall. I mean, it's certainly worth seeing. I liked it better than The Lobster, which was the only other one from that director that I've watched, which at least, I mean, like, I didn't hate The Lobster by any means, but I thought this had a lot more through lines to it. Like, it was a lot more followable. Last but not least, go now to theaters and watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. I fucking loved it. I mean, I don't want to over pitch it because I know that it's like got a ridiculously high Rotten Tomatoes score. It has got a ridiculously high IMDb score. So everyone that's going to finally actually see it is going to be like, this is okay. This is all right. A little overwhelmed, a little overhyped. So I don't want to overhype it, but I will say,
this is that multiverse movie that keeps getting shoved down my throat on YouTube.
I mean, it's just, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sorry for the algorithm, but it's a multiverse movie. It is stupid, funny, beautiful, sad, hilarious, tragic, like dumb, brilliant. I mean, it's one of the most innovative pictures I've seen in a long time, and I strongly recommend seeing it.
Well, they just keep the commercials like, get ready for the ultimate multiverse film of the season or the year. I'm like, what is this? So that's our genre now? I guess I didn't know we're in a genre with that, so that's my fault.
Well, it kind of made me think of The One a little bit, which was, I think, 2001 with Jet Li. So it's not like this is the first batch of multiverse movies that we've ever had. The theory is that, from the 60s, I want to say, string theory, right? All that kind of stuff. But could be older than that. I'm not a quantum physicist kind of guy. But I tell you what, it's just a really fucking entertaining movie. That's what it is. So I do recommend it. And those are the films I watched.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's send it over to you, Mr. Brandstrom.
Man, I cannot pull myself away from this Johnny Depp trial. I'm watching all the coverage. It's fascinating. I look, I know it's sensationalism, and being a huge Johnny Depp fan I know he wouldn't even want his fans watching it. Can't take my eyes off the screen. I've been sitting through hours and hours of the most boring testimony imaginable, but I'm eating it up. So that's been taking a lot of my time, but I have watched a few movies, beginning with 2020's Over the Moon. Travis, I believe you talked about this last year.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Glenn Keane is animation legend, man. He's like the animator behind like Little Mermaid, the whole Renaissance Disney era. He was one of the main character animators. So in his one of his very few first directorial efforts, he makes this, and it's fucking fantastic. It's just so imaginative. Like it does steer away from the classical structure of a similar picture. It's just supremely imaginative, more so than I expected it. It just went to places I'd never seen in a movie, and that's the power of animation. Loved it, man. Loved it. If you missed it or never even heard of it like I did, check it out on Netflix.
Yeah, it really
fantastic.
It kind of got lost in the shuffle, and it shouldn't have. It's really, really good.
Yeah, a fantastic, nearly all Asian cast. Margaret Cho. Ken, what the fuck? I'm a huge fan. What the heck is that guy?
Ken Young?
Yeah. Sandra Oh, superb. I loved it. Some trash thrillers from the late 80s and the early 90s. Cop, James Woods cop movie. Just called Cop.
Never saw that.
1988. I turned it on and I'm like, shit, James Ellroy? It's based on the book Blood on the Water from like legendary pot boiler James Ellroy. For some reason, they're like, dumb title. Let's just call it Cop. Pretty good. And I know James Woods gets a lot of shit and, for many reasons.
Does he not give out a lot of shit? Does he not just spew bile out of his mouth? Anyways, is it better or worse? Is it better or worse than The Hard Way? That's really what I need to know.
It's worse, but I liked it quite a bit.
Of course it is.
And I mean, I'll be goddamned if I don't miss his acting. Personal opinion aside about his blah blah blah.
I mean, he's a good actor.
I used to really enjoy him. But this was an interesting movie. Solid. I wish I could say the same thing about Catherine Bigelow's, I believe maybe her first feature, Blue Steel.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I checked it out on Tubi because Jamie Lee Curtis is a cop. I hit play immediately. Kevin Dunn, Richard Jenkins.
Didn't you do Near Dark before that? Near Dark?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, awful. There's nothing there. It's just so bad. That's it, man. That's it. Cop, Blue Steel, over the moon, and this fucking trial. They just labors on.
But I was watching that the other day, and I was like, oh my God, like he's like getting into like the most personal shit. I mean, I wasn't watching it like you're watching it live, but I saw some clips, and it just, I can't even believe the depths of like his personal life that they're getting into. It's just uncomfortable as fuck. It's more uncomfortable than even the killing of a sacred deer.
That's hard to top.
That's hard to top. Yeah.
I mean, just I've never actually watched a trial, procedurally speaking, and just that alone is interesting, the minutia. But yeah, I mean, it's something.
Well, I mean, sometimes things don't go your way.
That's true.
Sometimes
you feel like a nut.
Man. So sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes there's other things that happen.
There's a man.
Almond Joy.
Sometimes there's a man.
Blend our references. Blend.
Where's the time gone? What happened over the last 7 days? I don't even know what I've done the last 7 days, but it feels like.
Did you watch any movies during that time?
Yeah, it feels like I didn't watch any films. I've really got to be honest. I've been stuck on these goddamn. I've been back to YouTube again. Although YouTube has free movies a couple that I've almost clicked on that I wanted to watch, including 1991's Necessary Roughness, which is a stupid but great football movie starring Sinbad, Scott Bakula, but I didn't click on it, so I can't take credit for it. But I've been watching a lot of Joe Blow's What the Fuck Happened to So-and-So. I got to admit, they're pretty, I get sucked into it. I admit it. I'm like, what the fuck happened to Steven Seagal? Was one of them, actually. That was a couple weeks ago. What the fuck happened to Kirsten Dunst? I was like, well.
She was nominated for Academy Award this year.
I thought that was. I don't really know how they choose the what the fuck happened to. It seems like what the fuck happened to Mel Gibson? Like, I think we know that. I don't really need to.
He's also in a film that's in theaters right now. So, like, what are we talking about here?
I actually want to see that. Father Stu. I'll tell you. Mel Gibson has had a tough life. He's also been an alcoholic, so I empathize a little bit with that too. It doesn't excuse everything, but I do understand his life to a certain degree, being someone who's made mistakes myself, taking a lot of pills and shit. So, but I never went on like a rant about Jews or anything either, so I don't.
You got that going for you.
I do. Thanks, Travis. But it's also
shock jaw comment earlier.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I did the other day on Is It Safe? Another podcast to do with our friend Luke, who's been on the show before. I mixed up. Jawbreaker came through town the other day, and
I saw that.
I didn't go, but our friend Scott went, and I mixed up Jawbreaker with Glassjaw, and I don't know why I made that mistake. But remember that band Glassjaw? That was kind of.
Yeah, but I was a Jawbox fan. I know you are too. So I was like, I was always like, I can't listen to Jawbreaker because I already listened to Jawbox, and Glassjaw. That's just a bridge too far. Actually,
I agree.
I listened to a little Glassjaw. I'm just kidding. But I never got.
I agree. I think what ended up happening is me and Luke we only saw Glassjaw because they were headlining for like Sparta and Hot Water and band. Yeah. That's what we really want to see. This is like an 02. So I made that mistake. Never been a big Jawbreaker fan. Jawbox is better than all those bands by far.
Absolutely.
So. Spoiler King says in a few years it'll be what the fuck happened to Will Smith? Uh-oh.
Yikes.
I'm going to echo a sentiment that has been going around. Like, how is it that Ezra Miller can just do fuck all? I mean, I'm not in favor of beating people up on live television or anywhere, or smacking them or anywhere, but does seem like, I don't know. I don't want to see Will Smith's career gone. I do hope that he comes back from this, and I think he will. He's a big fucking star who's been around many decades. He's going to come back from this. I'm not worried.
Yep. I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, it'll happen. He might go in the basement for a while, but he'll be back.
So. Yeah, he's going to go sit in the corner for a couple of years, but he'll think about what he did wrong and he'll come back out.
All right, well, there it is. Cinema Night Podcast. We're talking about movies, and now it's time for our main event. This week, does it hold up or not? Eric Branstrom has selected 1999's Boiler Room, starring a host of people who acted in movies before and since, including Vin Diesel. What's his face? The guy,
Nicky Cat?
Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh,
yeah, Nicky Cat. Oh, of course, Nicky Cat. Yeah, how could I?
Chalk this up to the movies that Eric has picked where Nicky Cat plays Giovanni Ribisi's friend / bully, because that's the second one, including Suburbia.
Oh, how about that? You're absolutely right about that. Nia Long, of course, and kind of like part-time here and there. What's his face pops in and out. It's like the head honcho.
I got 2000. I got 2000 in my source.
Oh, really?
The year 2000 for Boiler.
Oh, shit balls. I'm making a huge mistake. Look at me.
February 18th, 2000.
Yeah, well, I am fired. You're right. I'm absolutely fired, and I just made an assumption on things. So I got a lot to learn, and I will make mistakes on occasion. So Travis is absolutely correct. This movie is 2000, not 99.
No rants against Jewish people, though. So you're doing okay.
I'm still on the good side of things there. Yes. So Travis, do you remember the first time you saw Boiler Room?
I don't think I saw this one in theaters. I definitely saw it. This was when I was working at Blockbuster with my good friend Eric Branstrom. So I definitely saw this one, a week or so before it came out. Like I did everything, because that was the great big perk of working at Blockbuster, was free video rentals, and you got stuff a week, sometimes 2 weeks before they were available to rent. And this was definitely one I would have been on, having been a fan of Giovanni Ribisi in a big way, honestly, at that time, like a good indie film nerd in the year 2000. I liked his stuff, and I liked Vin Diesel. I liked Nicky Cat. So of course this is something, and I liked Jamie Kennedy, I guess, too. Fine. So yeah, definitely saw this one. And yeah, another one that, yes, the movie poster adorned a wall somewhere in one of the places that I lived in my life, and didn't watch it since probably 03, 04.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not.
I'm fine with it. I'm okay.
Yeah, you seem fine with it.
I'm good.
Eric Branstrom, what about you? First time you saw Boiler
Room? Yeah, I checked. I can't say I rented it, but I absolutely remember I checked it out. But when it came in pre-release, we would take them all home, and then when the date came to actually be able to rent them out, they'd all be at our houses. So customers couldn't even rent them. We'd be like, oh, shit, I got to bring that in tomorrow. Yeah. I love the cast, man. Yeah, I mean, this cast is incredible, man. Poster alone, it says it all, man. And to be, at 18, no, we were just about 20 years old.
Pushing 20.
We were like, just this idea of success and like this go get 'em attitude and this like MTV vibrancy of the late 90s was like, it was very infectious. So I remember being very excited to see this. And I did many, many times over the course of a couple years, but I haven't seen it in probably 20 years.
Yeah, that's it right there. It's one of those movies we watched the fuck out of for a couple years, and then just didn't watch it again for a long time. Wore it out. Broke the videotape.
Yep.
Yeah, this was a movie that came on all the time. We used to watch it a lot, like you said, and I remember watching it as soon as it came out on VHS, DVD, and as soon as that happened, and it became a regular staple. We used to watch it at all the apartments I lived at during those days. Those were the days.
Then there's Maude.
Yeah, and then there's Maude. And we watched it. I watched it all the time, yeah. And I remember watching it. Feels like I watched it in Okemos probably around 2001, whenever it came out. Back then, it took a little bit longer for movies to come out on DVD, and now it just, the Batman shows up in 45 days, so made to order. That shit's old news. But in terms of the IMDb score, and I have not looked, so I'm going to take a guess. Anybody else?
I've not looked. I'll say, God, we keep on guessing like the same.
We're back in the zone. We're in that zone again.
Yeah. It seems. I mean, okay. I'll go a little lower just to mix it up since I keep on picking the same number. I'll say this is a 6.8.
Oh,
that's exactly what I was gonna say. So yeah.
I think what you were going to say is like a 7.1, Travis.
Yeah, I was going to say like a 7.1. That's what
Actual retail price is 7.0. Yep, so it didn't matter. I appreciate you mixing it up a bit. Yeah, but we're back in that. We have to come up with like a name for this zone because a lot of these movies are in this particular range of 7, 7.1, 7.2, 6.9. So yeah. I guess we're on a cold streak. We're boring now.
The near classics.
The near classics. On a very special, the near classics. Of course, on Rotten Tomatoes, they talk about movies there. And, you know, I got to say, the guy in Joe Blow, he says things so annoyingly sometimes. Like, on the tomatoes that are rotten, where they judge tomatoes. It's like, I don't want to sound like that guy, and I hope that doesn't go inside of me. No offense, Joe Blow, but you know, you could do better than that.
Yeah, stop watching it if you're starting to, you know, like a silly putty against a Blondie comic, just picking it up.
That's funny. Oh wow, look at this! A giant advertisement for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, a crowd-pleasing triumph.
We can't see that, Mike.
I know. I'm just letting you know. It's very colorful. It's a yellow and blue, a light like teal blue. Very strange. Boiler Room got a 66% from the critics. That's not great. That's below 7, I think, in my opinion, on IMDb.
6.6.
Yeah. Oh yeah, math. The audience gave it a 7.8, 78%. So
okay, that's pretty high. That's very high.
That is very high. And that's a healthy gap. Good to see that gap in there.
I got a theory.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I think that a lot of people like this movie. Eric, you mentioned that we were 19, you know, when we watched it. I think a lot of people that watched this movie were around that age, and the satire, the commentary may have been lost on some viewers who liked it for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the critics who were older were like, oh, this looks lame now. Like, come on, this is cheesy. But it was very relevant to.
Right.
Yeah, it's a frat fest, but it was a satire. I thought it was. I agree. We'll talk more about that. As far as the critical review, no Goody Koontz, no Destin Thompson. I'm not seeing him yet. I haven't heard from him in a minute.
Yeah, I miss him.
You
know I miss him.
I know you do. Yeah, well, I think we all miss him, don't we? Yeah. Can I get a relevant critic here? These are all. How about this guy? Oh my God, this is a great name. I'm going to use this. Widget Walls.
Shut the fuck up.
That's what it says, man. You could go look it up. It's called needcoffee.com. Widget Walls.
That's a pen name.
It's definitely a pen name. But it is Widget Walls.
Jesus,
Widget Walls.
It fits good. Goody Koontz, Widget Walls. We get them all here. Catch it one afternoon to save some bucks.
What?
Okay. I don't know what that means at all. Nice try, Widget.
He's saying, or they're saying, who fucking knows if they're a widget? They're saying, don't spend full price on this. Go to a matinee.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. Yeah, that's it.
Like an investment humor or something.
And that's what I thought too. Like, you're gonna learn something from this movie, but no, he's saying don't waste your money on a late night feature.
Kids love that investment humor. Widget. Good old Eves, Roger Ebert said, the movie hums with authenticity and knows a lot about the cult-like power of a company that promises to turn its trainees into millionaires and certainly turns them into efficient phone salesmen. The movie does know a lot about that.
This is telemarketing the movie. It is.
It really is. Damn. Yeah, we've had white people in the movie. Now we have telemarketing the movie. Yeah. You're right. How about Emmanuel Levy from Variety? He says, Last Reel is particularly disappointing in its naive philosophy, manifest in Younger's rush to bring the various conflicts to satisfying closure.
Little rushed. Okay. He's saying that the ending's rushed, is right? Is what he's saying? The third act.
The third. I think that's what the last reel implies. Third act.
Yeah.
What
he's saying there.
Stephanie Zacharak from Salon.com says, in movie making, as in cold calling, sometimes conviction is almost enough. Wow. So they're just like believing in their performances. They're selling it.
Act as if.
Hey! Why didn't she just say that? She should have said that. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't mention Ben Affleck's in this fucking movie, and he's like the Alec Baldwin of the fucking Glenn Ross.
He's playing Alec Baldwin, which makes sense because one of the things I really got this time that I never really got before is that like they reference Glengarry Glen Ross. They watch Wall Street, and they are watching Wall Street because they're getting the wrong message from Gordon Gekko, and they're like, literally, this is Younger trying to tell his audience, like, hey, they're getting the wrong message from these guys. You should make sure you don't get the wrong message from my movie. And I'm like a 19-year-old kid going, nope, fuck you, Ben Younger. I'm gonna think these guys are cool. and yeah, and I think that Ben Affleck's character is consciously emulating Alec Baldwin's character in Glengarry Glen Ross. Like, not that the filmmakers are doing that, but that literally the character is doing that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Ron Rifkin's in this movie too. Just want to mention that.
Dude, the man can act. Give it up to Ron Rifkin, ladies and gentlemen.
Perpetually looks like he just got like kicked in the balls for like the entire run times. Seth.
Yeah,
Seth.
He always looks like he always looks like he's angrily smelling smoke.
Yeah, you think about LA Confidential, The Negotiator, and then this movie, like 3 straight years of this Ron Rifkin looking at this. He does have that look. He really does have that
Rifkin's
look.
Pissed.
Rifkin's pissed. That was always a part of this movie. Like, this guy's the biggest asshole ever. But
is he though?
Is he? The entire movie, I'm like, I agree with everything this guy's saying. Get your shit together, you loser.
No.
No, I'm gonna have to go with Eric on this one. I'm mostly in Camp Rifkin for much of this movie. I do think that he's a prick about what he does how he says it a lot of the times. But
I'm not your friend. I'm your father, Seth.
Yeah. That whole our relationship. I'm not your girlfriend. Like, what the fuck? You know what he means here? He's talking about your relate. Like, what are you being an asshole for? So there's definitely times where he's a king prick for no reason. But like when he tells him, like, you unbelievable piece of shit, how many people have you fucked over? I'm like, yes, tell your son he's a piece of shit. He's fucking people over out of their life savings for no reason.
Oh, well, I thought it was cool when he was running the poker.
I do, Dad.
Oh, here we go.
That's why he's doing it.
Then again, I mean, you can be in Camp Rifkin all you want, but like, the fact is that character is part a pinnacle of the judicial system. So I'm sure he's, his hand has been dipped in some seediness himself. So, but
yeah, and they're Jewish. They're the Jewish community very tight knit over there, and like he also I can understand why he'd be paranoid and like, hey, I am a judge, and what the fuck are you doing, man? I am cool with him being pissed about the new job, but. I thought running the casino was great. What? Good on him. I like the casino. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I wish he would have stayed open on that one. But I guess
completely illegal. Why would you encourage your son to do something that's racketeering, isn't it? Like, why would you?
I'm a bad father.
I'm Jose Canseco. Like, why would you encourage your son to do something that could send them to jail to prison for years?
And that Seth keeps acting surprised that his dad is pissed off at his life choices. It's like,
no, the real fucking kicker is when he goes to his dad's office after his father tells him he's a piece of shit and tries to pitch him on a fucking stock. I'm like, are you high? Like, are you literally high right now?
Apparently,
desperate man.
After that, he saw the monologue. Something's going on with him.
There's also some full-on racism in this movie.
Is there?
Some?
Is there any misogyny or homophobia?
Really?
A little bit. A dab will do you. Yeah. There's all that.
Hearty dab. A dollop. A couple dollops.
So
2 N-words in, I was like, so what is this? Like, like, what purpose is this serving? Is this like insecurity coming out in the form of racism? What is all this?
Dude, go ahead. Sorry.
Is this the Tarantino, like, hyper realism? Like, this is how they would talk, so I'm trying to be as real as I can be.
Yes, that's what it is. It really made me think of when I was 16, maybe 15 years old, and I wrote my first and I think only screenplay.
Oh, Mongoose?
Yeah, Mongoose. Thank you. You remember. And as a big, huge Tarantino fan at the time, I of course went like, well, I can't make a movie if every character isn't just a horrific racist. How would anyone believe it? How would anyone believe that this is reality?
It's not real.
If every word out of their mouth wasn't dripping with venom, like why would anyone, and that's what I think is happening in this movie. Now, on one hand, you're supposed to be like, oh, like these guys are pricks, they're racist, they're homophobes, they're misogynists, but like they're not really judged for that at any point in the movie. Like, hopefully you as the viewer are judging them. And at one point, like, Giovanni looks at Nicky Cat sideways, but that's about it. That's the only any sort of like, there's no comeuppance for that.
No.
There's no like, hey, this is, it's just a bunch of fucking racists, but and bigots, but it's all white 20-year-olds in a room together. They've gone straight from the frat to this area in the year 99 or so. Mm-hmm. It's not entirely unbelievable.
Yeah. Look, they're idiots. So I could see in a way while he's trying to like, look, these are morons. They're not smart people at all. And I think if you know anything about racism, it comes from ignorance. It does. So I guess if you want to sell that point, that's fine. But supposedly Greg slept with Nia Long. Like they had a brief fling, right? And then, the Nicky Cat character. Yeah. And then he says all these racist things. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe that's what would happen. I don't know. This guy's just like, he's ready to turn his back on anybody in every given moment. I don't know. Would the movie be any different without these slurs? I think we'd still get the same message of the film.
I think the problem could possibly be we're watching this as a bunch of like Midwestern, fairly comfortable white kids. But anybody that's not white that's watching this, hearing all this shitty racial language when the whole soundtrack is predominantly like hip hop, it's very icky. I mean,
and it starts off with like him saying like he quotes Biggie and like says like that like you either like shoot hoops or like sling crack rock like
right.
And it's like, oh buddy, he's not talking about you, and then he says that like this is the white boy equivalent of slinging crack rock, which is just
says the judge's son.
Oh well, I mean, in the end, this is a movie about a father and a son, right?
I guess, yeah. Okay, there's definitely. No. I mean, it's a big part of it, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of kidding when I say that. What I mean, though, to talk about is the fact that Wolf of Wall Street exists now. So this movie was very much based off the story of Jordan Belfort. Yeah. But he's not in it. This was earlier, and I think he just got out of prison after this and was starting to tell his story. And now we live in the world with Wolf of Wall Street. So to me, things have changed so much now because 20 plus years went by, of course, and Wolf of Wall Street exists, which was, say what you will about the movie. It's a presence. It's a massive presence.
Yeah.
And so now when I can't help but kind of compare it to Boiler Room, and I get the same message out of both the films. I really do.
I mean, is it fair to compare Ben Younger in his first film? In his feature film debut,
right,
to Martin Scorsese late in the game, but before he's lost it, because Martin Scorsese is one of those guys that just doesn't seem to be losing it, like Coppola. But hey, let's be honest. Have you seen Byzantine or any other crap he's churned out in the last few years?
Long way off from Rumblefish, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a fair point. Oh, you've never? Yeah, we talked about that.
Nick Cage fan that I am. I know. I need to see that.
Yeah, you got to get your ass to Mars.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger question could possibly be how like Memedian this is trying to be, but failing. I laugh at a lot of this. I think the humor works in this quite well. It's funny. I was still laughing. When they try to be like super clever with their like rapid fire dialogue and stuff that flirts with this Memedian type deal. That's kind of where it loses me. We're talking about a movie that references Glengarry, and literally got characters sitting around watching clearly a better movie than what I'm being shown. That's always kind of a problem for me. And they just look like they're just playing dress up, and I'm not invested in these, no pun intended, in these characters because they want to be like other more interesting characters in a different movie.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't laugh, by the way. I didn't think. I mean, besides the one thing with Rifkin, I didn't.
No,
I didn't have really any like hearty laughs.
I heard that.
You laugh at Nicky Cat's lame
I actually laffed harder at the your son. That was hilarious. That made me laugh here. I'm laughing now.
I'm with you. I laughed hardest.
Cringeworthy.
at Giovanni Ribisi's like tear. Like I can just see like Giovanni Ribisi like doing that scene. We're talking about the confrontation between him and his father in his father's office where he breaks into tears. I can see him doing that scene and doing it really well. And Ben Younger being like, no offense to Ben Younger, I don't know the man, but I can see Ben Younger being like, that was good. That was good. Could you do it again but bigger? Okay, that was good. That was good. Do it again, but like a little bit bigger, maybe a little more teary, and like Giovanni being like, all right, like I'll fucking go for it, man. And you know, it's just like so. It's really over the top.
I can see Ben Younger being like, give me more. Remember your performance in The Other Sister? Can I get some of that thrown in?
Did Inception rip off this moment in Inception with the pinwheel and the moment with the father and the son and a bike and the accident? I feel like Inception's ripping off Boiler Room. That's my new theory now. So
have you seen where there's an older Huey, Dewey, and Louie Duck comic book that is literally the fucking plot of Inception? So
no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, they go into Scrooge's dreams and put an idea into his head to give away his fortune to some goons. It's ridiculous.
Wow, Well, that's news to me. That's a side note, but wow.
There's more than that too. I mean, it's like beat per beat. It's actually really close. But man, you know, that's fine. Filmmaking is always a process of influence and artistic impersonation, just like any other genre or, you know, medium, I should say.
Let's talk about Vin Diesel, guys. Vin Diesel. Any comments on Vin?
I was just going to bring that up because last summer I got into Vin Diesel quite a bit because you got to watch Multifacial, his short film, which is unbelievable. Well, I remember really liking his short that got him noticed, Multifacial, that he wrote and directed.
Oh, is that like a bukkake picture?
No, it's about him struggling with his biracial ethnicity while being a struggling actor.
Whoops.
Okay. So, between that and the anti-Semitism, this show is getting off to a...
Yeah, we're going downhill. We're turning into Boiler Room.
Only the Jewish guys being anti-Semitic, so...
Only the Jewish guys being anti-Semitic.
But I was a fan, man. And then Strays, his follow-up, I remember saying that he kind of reminded me of a young Stallone, like a grinding it out on his own to try to make a career for himself.
I like Pacifier.
Private Caparzo, but I dig him in this. Like I think he's strong in it. A lot of me wishes the movie was about him instead of Seth, because I don't really give a fuck about the Seth character, but the Chris character kind of interests me.
Okay, let's talk about how these guys are clueless. They want to be clueless, or did they know about it and they're just like, fuck it? I mean, this seems like this would be pretty easy to expose.
Yeah, all of the higher ups know about it, including Chris, Greg,
Thomas Everett Scott.
Thomas Everett Scott. That's why I think you have a more this is literally I don't know when the last time you saw Wall Street is, but you want to talk beat for beat. This is the same thing. A guy gets into this industry and like he's an up-and-comer. He finds out, it's not what you thought it was. Lame romantic subplot that goes nowhere. It's the same movie.
They think they can get away with it, though, by including Wall Street in the film, I guess.
If you reference the movie.
But if you have a movie about like these investment shops, and you know that right off the bat, and you have somebody maybe like the Chris character knowing exactly what he's getting into and how to navigate still being able to do that with also doing this and that, I think that's a more interesting movie with more to say than this, which is derivative.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys.
Let's hear it.
Nia Long's character Abby, why in blue fuck would she be interested in Seth at all? It makes zero sense. Like he's just one of many fucking doofuses that rolls through her office. Like he's not particularly charming or handsome. They don't really seem to have any connection. He asked her like where the fucking bathroom is or some shit. I mean, it's completely
like a moment at a bar, Travis.
Later, but like it's like she starts flirting with him like on the first meeting. It's like at first sight. I'm like, why? I don't buy it at all.
She just breaks up with Greg, so she probably has a very low opinion of these types, and then yet she's hitting on the new recruits.
Yeah, it's just like I'm watching this whole movie being like, I just don't buy this at all, which was one of the problems I had with the film in general, was that, like, no offense to Nia Long, but like I wasn't. I mean, like, I think there was moments where she was believable, moments where she wasn't. I feel like there was a lot of moments where Vin was not believable. I wasn't buying much of what Jamie Kennedy was doing. I wasn't buying much of what Ben Affleck was doing. A lot of it felt
Jamie Kennedy.
a lot of it very much felt like actors doing stuff in mostly the same setting.
It's a lot of hot young faces like Scott Conn and Jamie Kennedy. They're the douchebag. They have no redeeming qualities at all. But there's supposedly a next level. There's a hierarchy here. You got the Conns and the Kennedys. Then you got the Cats. And then the Chris is above the Cat. And then supposedly Seth is above. Is that how it works? Did I get it right? And then Rob Rifkin rules over all of it. So
I don't know. I thought Tom Everett Scott.
Oh no, I'm just talking about the hierarchy of like how likable the characters are. So like there's no redeeming value to Scott Conn and Jamie Kennedy's characters at all. Like they're morons. They are cavemen morons. Scott Conn's just ready to fight everybody. Like that stupid scene between the Wall Street assholes who are assholes and then like these just chop shop assholes. Who are we supposed to root for now? Watching this in 2022, people fucking hate rich people. They hate anybody who has anything to do with money now. So it's like, fuck all these guys. Light the whole place on fire and burn it down.
Yeah, the only people I think I rooted for in this movie was the gay table that like put Scott Conn in his place.
Exactly.
So he's on like the gay island. That was
pretty much.
I was like, yeah, go you guys. I should have just. I want to follow you guys and hang out with you instead of for the rest of this picture instead of these assholes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'd like to say that I very much rooted for Harry, who actually played pretty well by Harry Nichols, but like it's so like spot on, like fuck this guy over. It's like fucking like public service announcement made for TV Lifetime movie like crisis scenes like, between him and his family.
Life stories,
like,
people in crisis. Yeah.
When he's like hunched over in the kitchen as they're leaving out the front door,
like literally
you blew our nut, you blew our our
shaking on the staircase. Come on.
And the fact that Seth tries to save him, like, hey, you got to put this one through, man, before it all goes to hell. That wouldn't happen. Harry's fucked.
Nope.
His life is over, and he's going to start a new life as a bagger in a fucking grocery store in Iowa.
Yep. I'm on Camp Harry, but he's fucked. And like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't know much about like the stock market. I had to jump on Wikipedia and look up this plot, what chop shops were, because like Giovanni Ribisi, like he explains it to Nia Long in like 40 seconds,
so
and then that
clunky.
stupid FBI lame white van surveillance crew like comes out of nowhere. Like we're supposed to get into this surveillance subplot, but honestly, like, what is this? Okay, I get that they're buying up penny stocks that are worthless, selling them for a shitload, and then making money, and then moving to a different town to do this. But like, how does this? Like, how does Seth not know this immediately? Like, does he check the stock market? Does he look up anything? Does he do anything to realize like this situation? Like, what is this plot?
I mean, I think the part of it has to be that like these guys are all amoral as fuck because they want the money. They all want money. To go back to the Harry thing real quick. Also, like if you're talking to a complete stranger and you're like, oh yeah, let me discuss my household finances with my wife, and that stranger's like, no, you don't need to do that. I'm about to go to the bathroom. I need to eat lunch. Like, don't talk to your wife about money. Like, hey man, red flag. Like, what are you doing? But
okay, I will say real quick, 22 years ago, it was a bit of a newer thing. This cold calling and this these telemarketing calls, they were still a part of a newer thing. I'm not really going to defend it. I just think maybe we should just put ourselves in that moment for a second. That's all I want to say.
Okay, all right, okay.
I've been in that moment. In 2001, I took a job for Kirby Vacuum Cleaners in Highland, Michigan. I walked in the door. This guy, Paul, sat me down at a desk, handed me literally a phone book and said, start calling. He turned to page 1, like at Anthony Adams. I called Anthony Adams, asked him if he wanted me to come out and demonstrate a Kirby vacuum. He said no and hung up on me. Then I called the next guy on the list. Like, this is seriously a thing, especially in 2001. And it's a numbers game. I think Affleck says that. It's all a numbers game. Eventually, someone's going to be like, all right, come over and show it to me. But, like, like these high rollers, like the doctor, like the scene where like the doctor's like, all right, I'm listening, put me in on that. It's not believable. No one's gonna. These guys are clearly like amateur hour script reading rebuttal Rolodex.
Be surprised how dumb doctors can be, actually.
Or anyone for that matter. But I agree. I mean, like to me, there was a lot of this that felt. It almost felt like a lot of the stuff, like with the doctor and like with Harry, the guy that gets screwed over, they almost seem like they're supposed to be composite characters or something. Like they're supposed to be representative of all the people that they were fucking over and stuff, I guess. But like it felt cobbled together. I don't know. My favorite thing about the movie was the wood paneling in Giovanni Ribisi's apartment. Really dug that style. I'm like, you want to get out of this apartment? This place is great. I love that wood paneling.
Yeah, I mean, they had sandwiches. If you lost a lot of money, you could have a sandwich.
So much Coca-Cola. That one scene when he's
32
like,
liters.
You saw that? It was like 30 empty 2 liters there. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Then I remembered like this must be for mixers for the drinks and shit. Cause I'm like, I think Giovanni's got a problem, or at least Seth Davis has a problem with the Coca-Cola Classic.
That's a serious crisis there. It really is. You know, when they're in the office like that on those calls with the doctor and shit and trying to hook someone, I was just longing for John C. McGinley in Wall Street to like say something funnier. I really was like, that's what I wanted. I'm like, can we just put on Wall Street? Can I stop watching this? Just put Wall Street on instead, because I'd have more fun watching Charlie Sheen and McGinley shoot the shit, and then like have old fucking old Hal come down the hall. Well, you know, Bud, the thing about money is, Bud.
I think I'd rather watch the other
Hal.
sister.
Hey, coming soon to a podcast near you. Okay, so what else about this movie? Tell me.
I don't know. We got like 20 minutes to kill here, though. This will be like our shortest.
Oh, we started earlier on this one, just for the record. We started at 29 minutes, which is we usually start like 35 to 40. So
yeah, that's true.
Just saying, I was paying attention.
There was a lot to get into. We were eager to discuss Boiler Room. Did you notice Dr. Melfi's son get pissed? Dr. Melfi's son shows up in the casino and he's very angry. I'm like, oh, Dr. Melfi's son. Bye.
Yeah, that's Dr. Melfi's son. Also, Seth's sidekick is the kid from Meet the Parents and Scary Movie. So
I knew he was familiar. Good catch.
He was from a couple movies during that period. In fact, holy shit! All 3 of those movies, including this one, are from the year 2000. Wow. He just showed up in this movie, Meet the Parents, and Scary Movie in 2000. He's like, I'm out of here. That's weird.
He made his money and went home.
Wow. He's like
really good agent.
He's like Dominic, what's his face? Dom Hall Gleason when he showed up in every movie for 2 years in 2014 and 15. So, yeah, good for him. Should we mention, what about, Seth's mom? She has like the most ineffectual part ever. So should we give credit to that?
I guess. Yeah. Okay.
She has like one scene on phone, like, your father, Seth. Like, why are you even in this movie? Like, why? Just kill the mom. The mom shouldn't even exist. She's not there.
Maybe to kind of have it, because he's supposed to come from like a good home. He's supposed to come like this is. He's got a loving
good
family.
Stock.
He's got a solid foundation, and he's making this choice to be a shitbag.
And that's just sad, huh?
I guess.
I guess. Matt Wilson says, I think I saw this with Eric, and we couldn't stop laughing at Vin Diesel's acting. Wow. I think Eric changed his tune.
Seth, what the fuck?
Yeah, lots of Jewish jokes and Italian jokes. Jewish joke and an Italian joke. Then there'll be a Jewish joke followed by an Italian joke, and then one more followed by one more.
Again, they're saying that these people, they're not high-level thinkers. Like, they're base-level dipshits who are just, the man machismo locker room talk, as Donald Trump famously said. I guess that's what's going on here. So I don't know. It doesn't really appeal to me anymore. I guess you can kind of see where I'm headed anyways.
Well, they took a shot and cast Giovanni Ribisi in the lead. I haven't really seen him as the lead in a lot of movies, a lot of supporting stuff, but I can't say he really took off after this. I mean, like Mod Squad came around. A few other leading
things. What First Love, Last Rights was around the same time. He's the lead of Suburbia, really.
Don't forget Avatar.
I mean, he's pretty much the lead of Other Sister. I mean, for the jokes we're making, he still was there.
Sky Captain of the World of Tomorrow.
Did he star in that? I never caught that one.
I don't know if he starred, but he's in it as Dex.
So I think he had like a minute where they tried to make him like the leading man, but they just kept on making him narrate, and no one wants to hear that fucking voice. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
He made some poor choices here, guys. He really did. He was in Basic, which was fucking terrible and
so bad.
And he's in Sky Captain, which was totally shit on. So he made some mistakes here after these movies.
I remember when it first started, like talking about the narration. Like the first couple minutes, I was like, "Oh fuck, we're in trouble here," because it's trying to do the whole like Fight Club, like fast paced, like cool talking narration, and like can I get into this? Do I care about this guy? Like, what is this? It's very late 90s, 2000s. I'll give it that. So like era wise, I don't think aesthetically it holds up. It feels dated for me.
What are these? These movies are just trash. It just all went to hell for him, and that's too bad. But he did have the Sneaky Pete run later in life. I guess he made a lot of money off that.
And Ted too.
Yeah, he was huge with Seth MacFarlane. He's big with the Family Guy people. So that kind of, I'm sure that made a shitload of money for him. So he probably is happy about that. So
I bet he likes money.
Good for him. Yeah. Vin Diesel. We talked about Vin Diesel in that stupid Sidney Lumet movie. It was fucking trash. Find Me Guilty. Fucking trash. It's terrible.
The one where
don't ever watch it. Stupid.
I would never watch it.
I had to. It's fucking Sidney Lumet. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta
watch. Yeah, I'll watch it at some point.
I had to try, but boo. Yeah, let's just call it, man. Fuck, let's do it. I mean, we've said everything. We talked Ben Affleck. We talked about Neil Long. We talked about everybody. We talked about these guys are pieces of shit. Maybe we could hit real quickly the. I don't know. I guess I brought it up, but I want to know. Do you guys see this movie differently? From where we are now economically and like the world we live in, with 20 more years of our life added on to the unfortunate time to be born in America. I mean, a lot of people got it bad, but it does seem like our generation kind of, good shit on from previous generations overall. And I'm curious if you guys see that in this movie, and like from a point of view of how, the 1% stuff that took off in the Occupy Wall Street 10 years later. I'm curious. Anybody? No?
I feel like this did take place at the tail end of a period of peace and affluence where, there's a few references made where it's like, hey, life is good. There's not a lot of war. There's not a lot of political strife in our country. The economy's pretty well balanced. There's not a lot of, there's no recession looming or anything. There's definitely this kind of feeling of like, hey, everything's good. And it ain't, or it's not going to be for much longer.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing, because like the 90s, economy was coasting along, and this is before the crash and before 9/11. So I guess the only issues were daddy issues, and that's basically what the fucking whole movie's about. It's grown man crying about his dad smacking him in the face. That's it.
Yeah, a Clinton era economics kind of look. But you know what? Actually, real quick, I'm glad you brought that up since you talked about Rifkin's thing with the face. Another thing that really irked me in this movie is when they finally had this confrontation about the smacking in the face when he was had his leg broken. Ron Rifkin's like, you have no idea, like this was weighed on me. It's made me so sad. I always regretted it, blah, blah. I'm like, well, no, you didn't. He brought it up like 20 minutes earlier in the movie, and like you had all kinds of excuses and you were angry. I'm like and also it kind of makes sense to smack someone if they're absolutely hysterical. Being how this is how he acts as a grown man in your office, I can only imagine what a compound fracture did to him as a little kid. So I mean, I don't know. Again, Team Rifkin over here,
dude.
Okay,
totally. I think Younger he has a lot of fun with his first act, and frankly, I have some fun with it. But he just doesn't know how to wrap it up. He wraps it up in the most obvious, typical way. Like, it's just like, okay, get the surveillance team in here. Hey, cut him a deal. It's over. Okay, like the party is just over.
Well, who knows what happened?
The relationship is mended, and
you're right.
Come on. And you're right, dude. The whole movie's about this fucking conflict between father and son, and there's no reason for him all of a sudden to say, I never forgave myself. Like, I'm not buying it. That's just to end the movie.
Yeah. Who knows what the studio was? I mean, I don't know. He's a first-time director in a bigger role opportunity. I could see him being fucked with, so I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But I'm with you, because what he did, Prime, a movie I've never heard of, in 2005 that stars Meryl Streep and Uma Thurman, and that's
I don't know.
That's pretty much it as a director. Yeah, so
that's
sad.
in this movie, Boiler Room ends just so abruptly. And one of my last notes is, "Oh, it's over." Like it's suddenly just over. The paddy wagons show up. There's no real climax. Like, what's the climax? It's an emotional climax between him and his father, I guess, or him saying that he'd rather go to jail than have his father, get in any sort of trouble for trying to help him, I guess. But or getting Chris to sign a piece of paper, I guess. It's like I'm watching the movie, and then suddenly like he pulls out of the parking lot. It's like fade to black, and I'm like, oh, all right,
yeah.
Okay.
I remember reaching down for a slice of pizza, and I looked up. The credits were rolling. Like no, and like you talk about comeuppance. Like no one's brought out in cuffs. There's just it's nothing. It's just tied up. It's like
that's it.
Like I say, it's like the end of like a Dick Wolf cop like episode of something, and the episode is just about chop shops.
Only that would at least let us see them in cuffs getting marched into the vans.
That's very likely. Oh shit! Okay, he got one more shot in 2016. It's called Bleed for This, starring Miles Teller and Aaron Eckhart. It's a boxing drama directed by Ben Younger, and he co-wrote it.
Yeah. So. I missed that one too.
6.8 on IMDb. It's not terrible, so I don't know. Maybe
I'd heard of that one at least. I'd never heard of Prime. How I never hear of a Meryl Streep movie is beyond me.
Yeah, it's strange. Poor guy. Hey, it didn't go the way he wanted to. Ben Younger, wherever you are right now, I hope your life is happy and healthy, and you're having everything you ever wanted. So, all right, let's close out this motherfucker. I'll go first. I will tell you that Boiler Room is a movie that, it used to be fast-paced. And I was 19 years old. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, hey, fast-paced, slick assholes. Yeah, these guys are morons. But they say clever shit. I really probably thought that. Like, wow, this dialogue is awesome. I probably thought that. I'm not going to back down from that. I'm a fucking moron. I was a 19-year-old idiot. So, yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I wish, there's a good message here. I don't know what I really thought, frankly, now. Because when I watch it, it's the bore. I didn't laugh. And I always was annoyed. I frankly always was annoyed in future watches, and even back then, with this dynamic between Rifkin and Ribisi. I just thought it was like really forced even back then. Those were always my least favorite parts of the movie, frankly, where he had to cry and beg and, leave dinner early because his dad said one-off remark. They're supposed to be celebrating. Come on, it's a happy night. No, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave.
So childish.
It was. So, yeah, I guess that where we are now, I think there's been better examples of corporate greed and investment fraud and all that shit. There's better options, and I think Wolf of Wall Street is vastly superior to this film, easily. And like Travis said, Ben Younger in his early stages versus a legend of his own time, Martin Scorsese. That probably would happen. Leo DiCaprio and a great cast. Jonah Hill. There's a lot of reasons why Wolf of Wall Street should be better. It had a huge budget, too. So this movie doesn't hold up, though. It's just, it doesn't work for me.
All right. I guess I'll jump in, and we'll do it a little backwards. Have you ended up, Eric? So I rented this on Prime. It was $3.99 to rent. I'm sorry. It was $3.99 to rent, and it was $4.99 to purchase. So I just purchased it. I'm like, why not? It's $1 more.
Yeah.
I want my $1 back. I want my $1 back. I'm not going to watch this again. I hadn't seen this since like 03 or 04. I'm not going to watch it again. I didn't hate it. It's not like this isn't like, we set this up like a binary thing. Does it hold up? Does it not? And is it just a completely worthless movie that's not worth your time at all? No, I think that there's stuff in there that's, it's like vaguely entertaining for some of it. There's some decent acting, I guess, but this is just, there's no reason to go back and revisit this. There's nothing that you're gonna, if you haven't seen this movie in a while and you're listening to this episode, my recommendation is to not pick this one up again and revisit it. It's just, you can let this one just fade into the, effluvia of your, whatever of your memory. Just let it just vanish. There's no, because when you bring it all up to the front, there's nothing really there to spend any time with. So
that is so weird. That's the second time I've heard that word in 3 days on a podcast. Weird.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know if I've ever used that word in my life to the point that as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh fuck, don't use words you're not sure if you're pronouncing them properly.
Scott said it on the show yesterday. That's weird. Funny. Although he said effluvium. So.
That's probably right. Well, I might be talking about the singular.
Yeah, I think you are. I think you're okay. I think you pulled it off.
Sometimes spat out bullshit. Anyways, it doesn't hold up for me.
I'm glad I picked it. I think it was a good call for the show, man, because like we said, we watch this all the time. Something about it struck us. Okay? I'm not that different than I was 20 years ago. I'm a much better person. I've learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from them. But I'm not vastly different in terms of my film appreciation. So I am thinking the other night while I'm watching it, like, why did I love this so much? And again, I think it is just because of that youthful energy and that drive the characters have, even if it's misguided to me now. Yeah. That's why I was so entertained by it, because when you're young and you see people successful in the real world, quote unquote, it does get you hyped up, man. It gives you energy. But yeah, dude, this is just kids playing dress up, and I props to Ben Younger. I mean, out of the gate with this cast and a fluid picture that's edited nicely and is entertaining. I never really wanted to turn it off. I paused it. But at the end of the day, man, this script is just very prototypical. And these speeches by Ben Affleck, I'm telling you, they're fucking cringeworthy. It's just so film school dipshit writing in his notebook at the coffee shop, Glengarry diatribe bullshit.
He does his best.
It's cringeworthy.
Yeah,
he does what he can, but yeah, I gotta say, at the end of the day, man, you nailed it, Travis. It's not worth returning to. If you got good memories, God bless you. I'd keep this in the past, man, because JT Marlin is not worth investing in.
Oh,
doesn't hold up.
You know what I realized as you were talking, Eric? I think what I understand is that I had more of an affinity for assholes when I was that age for some reason.
Yeah.
I
think we all did.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
It's a self-indulgent, assholey age, if you know. And this is an extremely bro-y movie, and we were at the bro-iest of our lives. So
the bro-iest of our lives.
It was the bro-iest of times.
It was the bro-iest. It was the lamest.
Yeah, drink a whiskey drink. You drink a vodka drink.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Lager drinks.
Hey, all right, there it is. Boiler Room's in the can. We've done it. Yeah, this is it. We did it. Congratulations, everybody. We did it.
We did it.
Whose turn is it?
Schleprock. It's your turn, Chief.
Oh, cool! Yay! I love when it's my turn. It's fun. It's always a fun moment, right? So last time I almost did it, and I pulled back. This time, I regretted Wag the Dog in a way. I did. I felt like it was a missed opportunity, but I did. We did it. I'm glad we did it. But this time,
it was going to come up one point or the other.
So. Yeah.
This time, I know what I want to do, and I can't wait to see how this plays out, because this movie has a lot of talk about this movie. I don't know if it's good or not. Maybe it was never good, but hell, this is why we're going to do it. It's time to go back to, I believe, 1990. Let me double check the date on this. It's either 90 or 91. And we're going to do a movie. I don't know if we've done a Wesley Snipes movie. Have we? We done Wesley Snipes movie?
No, I don't think so.
I mentioned him on the show a couple weeks ago.
Demolition Man, Simon Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, we did. Okay, yeah, that's right, we did. Well, we're doing it again. We're going back to 1991. It's time for Mario Van Peebles' New Jack City. Here we go.
All right, never seen this one.
I've never seen it.
The very first picture out of 100-something episodes that I had not seen first. I think.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I don't think there's been another one I hadn't seen.
I don't think there is either.
There may have been one that slipped by, but I think this is the first.
It would be extremely rare.
The Annihilators, of course. I'd never seen that.
Well, everybody gets a pass on that one. So, although it was a great episode.
Oh yeah,
great episode.
Dude, please listen to that episode. But so New Jack City. Okay,
New Jack City. Well, see what happens. So I used to watch it a lot when I was a kid. I watched it a lot. I thought it was but it's been a long fucking time. So we'll see what happens. That'll be next week. New Jack City. That's it. That's the show. Don't pitch the bitch. Yeah.
Oh, God. We could have not used that phrase.
No, we should have. It's good. It's important to mention it, though. You're right. That was part of the goddamn movie. So
that's a goddamn movie. All right.
Matt says, looking forward to it. Great cast tonight. Well, we're the same cast every week, so thank you. Appreciate it, Matt. We welcome you, as always. Until next time, for Travis, Eric, I'm Michael, and we'll catch you next time on the Cinema 9 podcast.